Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to ATM Spellbound. So it's been just a little bit of time since the last episode. We are today going to be covering a few different mods. These are all kind of smaller mods. Vampirism, I've mentioned before, I'm not a big fan of vampirism. I find it to just be like, I don't know, a little too over the top and kind of just like silly in a way. Most vampire mods, they don't tend to pan out that well. Vampirism does add, with an add-on, it does add werewolves and also adds like witch hunters and stuff. We're going to do a little bit with that today. The mods that we're going to be covering today, we're not going to do a ton with. There's Hexary, which is, you know, kind of another of the witchery, the children of witchery, as is what we're going to call them. Another one of the kind of witchery mods that have come up since the old 1.7 witchery. Still very incomplete, but it does add a lot of really great decorative mods. And then there's also Mahou Sakai. It's kind of another kind of really over-the-top mod. There is one thing in the mod that I absolutely love. The rest of it I'm not that crazy about. It's got a really wonky spell system, in my opinion. It is pretty to look at. It's really flashy, but it's also a little too much, generally for Minecraft, I think. It's a little weird. But we're going to be covering these three today, just quickly, just spending a little bit of time on them. You know, there's not a lot of quests for them. Vampirism has a bit, but we're not going to spend a long time on vampirism. And then after this episode, starting in the subsequent episodes, we're going to be kind of going through and knocking out quest tabs. Because a lot of these we are very close to finishing up. Like occultism, there's one thing. So at the beginning of episodes, as we move forward, we'll kind of be clearing up a little bit of quests. I'll craft some of the stuff off camera, but because I mean all of it's really cheap at this point for the most part, until we get down, you know, to some of these lower tabs. But a lot of this stuff is just crafting things. Like for example, if you take a look at storage, crafting all the backpack upgrades. Mystical agriculture is just crafting all the seeds. A lot of this stuff is just really kind of redundant, that we're not going to do a whole lot with. So we will be clearing up some quests. And actually, on that note, we could actually probably go ahead and knock one out right this very second with some Dice of Fate. So we got Angel of Death. We got Lost Time Memory. One Step Layered. I can't remember, did Dice of Fate? No, they're not used for anything in this pack. We got In Essentia, which this is, of course, is the infinite food. We don't have the add-on for that. But the Ring of Odin, we're actually going to be wearing this. And then we have Gaia Spirits. Did we finish the... Yeah, we actually finished the Britannia quest line. That was all that we had left. So there we go. We got the Britannia quest line all knocked out. And we'll come back to the Ring of Odin later. We're going to be talking a bit more about that a little bit later. But with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into kind of clearing up some of these really sort of miscellaneous quests. We'll give them a little bit more time than we did like Sai, but we're not going to spend a long time on them. Like I said, there's not really much that we want from them. There's like a couple things, really. We're going to go ahead and take our checkmark quest, but we do actually have some vampire fangs. We're going to go ahead and grab that quest and just kind of continue on. We have a checkmark quest. I'm not going to be reading through all of this. Basically, you can become we're not going to be going the vampire route, so we're just going to knock out the quest real quick. And if you're not familiar with it, basically, you can level up with vampirism. I'm usually not a big fan of vampirism mods. You know, there's actually been a couple of them, and I've never really been a big fan of it. I like vampires, but I'm not big on vampire mods in Minecraft, so usually they're way too over the top. We have a thing about factions here. I'm not going to read all of this, and we have this. We have this. We have this. They want us to get some wolfsbane, which we do have the seeds. I just have to go grow them. I know apparently Mahou Sakai was like really heavily requested and stuff, but this is kind of like the Sai episode where we're just going to run through things real quick, just to get it knocked out, more or less. We have to find a vampire hunter. And you can also find little underground vampire layers and kill them. Yeah, here we go. Here's a vampire evader. Oh, sorry. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to kill you. Task completed. Liver. Okay, so we can get them. Can I get cracked bones from you? I don't think so. And you're not really the people that I need anyways. I've got to go find one of the vampire houses. Now we got a human here. Oh, there's a werewolf. There we go. There's our lily-livered quest completed. Okay, now we still have to keep our eyes peeled for Wolfsbane and the village so that we can go join the hunters. There's another werewolf. A lot of werewolves back in here. There. I don't want your virus. But these are mods that were added a little bit late for us to really realistically do a whole lot with. And this won't be like a full tutorial of these mods, but it's just kind of a quick look at them more than anything. And then that way we can finish up the quest for them. Just so we at least spend a little bit of time with them. Okay, there's our Vampire Hunter Trainer house right there. If we go behind here, we should be able to find some garlic somewhere around. Right here. Let's go ahead and grow a bunch of this garlic, because we're going to need it for the quest. And then we're also going to need it to start the Vampire Hunter group, basically. There we go. And we've got plenty of garlic to keep us busy. But we're going to need to make ourselves, let's grab this garlic. We need to make a garlic injection at this point, this right here. So we're going to have to make a syringe. These kind of come up a few times with different things. Because you can, like, inject yourself with werewolf cure, for example. Let's see, vampire blood. We've got obsidian chestplate of hell. And hunter coat. Okay. So what we're going to do is... oh, and there's a research table here. But we're going to go ahead, click that with the syringe, and we get betrayal. Kill a hunter after becoming a hunter yourself. Well, actually, I became a hunter after killing a hunter. So we're going to get toxicant. It's kind of sort of similar to Bloodborne in a way. But now we can click to him. Or click on him. I don't train hunters as inexperienced as you are. Look for someone less experienced. And now at this point we have to go out into the field. We got to go find ourselves one of these little vampire hunter groups. There was actually one nearby. I just got to figure out where. I hate opening the map because it just like lags me. Let's go up here. I think it was up here where that group was at. Right here. Which is actually a group I didn't murder. So we'll talk to the evader. No, he doesn't want to talk. I think we need just this guy. Yeah. Please pay me 1 more vampire blood bottles to train you. Okay, so what we need to do, we're going to grab this. And we're going to talk to him. There we go. He trained us. He says we've learned something. And then give us 5 more vampire blood bottles to train us. And basically we can level up. I don't think I'm going to do the whole little like grind thing that it is. We're going to get that. We're going to get that. They want us to make a stake. But basically it becomes like sort of like a little farming thing. And you can kill other players too that have chosen like to be vampires. And the vampire's the same way except you're gathering blood. And the werewolf's kind of the same way except you're eating things. Sort of stuff. And this details that basically you're going to be leveling up a bunch. We've got a hunter research table. We'll just go steal that one, guys. And then we have to go to the vampire. We have to go to the vampire forest. Let's see if we have the biome nearby. Vampire forest. We found one. 5,000 blocks off in that direction. Okay, great. But we can basically tier them up. Like, we already gained 1 level. And then we got to do 5. And then I think it's 10 bottles. And if we use our stake on the vampires, that's how we're going to get levels. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to level it all. You get some little bonuses. I don't remember what they are, but We're going to go ahead, take his research table away. In vampires, they use the altars that they had us craft to like level. Actually, we've got the weapon table already, but then they want us to get the potion table, and then they also want us to get the something else, the alchemical cauldron. There's that. Okay, so quest completed. And I know a lot of people do like this mod. It's just not my thing, really. Just like musical backpack mobs is not my thing. Oh my gosh, so much lag whenever I do that. Never open your map, ever. But you can actually see a little blue bar there above our experience level. It says level 2. That's our vampire hunter level. But if you're kind of starting in a new world, you do get some little benefits, and like vampires get some really good swords and stuff. And we actually have some of their like training equipment, like the amulet of summoning, summon bats. Can be used outside bat mode, and the bats are targeting hostiles. And then there's slightly increased speed. There's train vampire swords faster. And there's a ring that slightly increases damage. You know, there's some pretty decent stuff, and vampire hunters get that stuff. It's just not applicable to us at this point. And it's kind of a mod where you want to be out, like, actually killing mobs and kind of in that combat stage of Minecraft. Like, right now, we just kill everything instantly. So we've kind of long since bypassed that stage of combat. So we're really not going to get anything that benefits us from vampirism. I do have to say, though, that the werewolf mod, like the add-on, does have some pretty good werewolf models. So I do have to give them credit for that. But I'm usually not a big fan in Minecraft of like these sorts of mods. There we go. We got the achievement Blood Feeder's Home. And so that completes that quest. We get some pure blood, some XP, and some vampire fangs. Okay, now can we find wolfsbane? There's vampire orchids, which I guess is nice to have. There are a bit of flowers. Now we can also find vampire sheep. I'm actually like still loading, I think. Vampire sheep, and we have vampire cows, vampire pigs. And we can find like vampires because they don't burn in the sun here, and they can just like hang out here. But I think all we're finding is vampire animals. So, zoom. I love whenever I get the speed boost off of this. And there's vampire spruce. We'll go ahead and grab a sapling because we can, in case we decide we want to do something with it. And there's rivers of blood here. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I was kind of curious though if wolfsbane spawned here, but I don't think that it does. I think we're gonna have to find that somewhere else. Oh, the biomes you go has so many biomes. It's insanity. Werewolf Heaven. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's go there. We have like Vampire Hell and Werewolf Heaven. Alright, so I gotta get another 5,000 blocks off in this direction to find Werewolf Heaven. Let's go do that. We'll take a look at their biome, because I'm not familiar with it. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with the werewolf add-on. I do think they have really good models for werewolves. It's just, I don't know, kind of strange. Like I said, I think this kind of stuff would work really good on like a server that's kind of role-play maybe, or something. With some PvP and stuff, but it usually is kind of just sort of there in packs. Like I said, I've had vampirism show up in a lot of packs, and it's always just kind of felt like it's there. But I figured I wanted to at least spend a little bit of time with all the content mods, at least show them off, sort of. Okay, maybe we can find what we're after here. Aha! No, wait. We found it. It does grow here. I'm glad I kept looking. Because I was like, I don't think it's going to grow here. Like, wolfsbane. Like, why would it grow in werewolf heaven? It's like werewolf hell, maybe, but we can get it here. Hooray! There we go. Quest completed. Wait, do we still have quest here? Oh, vampires need umbrellas. There we go. Boom. Basically, werewolves or vampires need umbrellas is if you want to be a vampire but you don't want to have to deal with sun, you just make an umbrella and carry it around. Also kind of weird and out there sort of concept, but I don't think it actually works that way. So if you ever do get afflicted with actual vampirism, don't count on an umbrella to save your life, is what I'm saying. Now moving on into sort of the weird and wacky mods of Spellbound that we haven't touched yet. We have Mahou Sakai. This one is extremely over the top, like way over the top and really cumbersome with a lot of the spells. Like a lot of them, it takes more trying to set them up to make them work to be useful, but they look pretty. It's a beautiful mod. It's just way over the top, goofy. And then there's some spells that are just big, you know. But the first thing we have to do is become a Mahou Sakai, which I don't know what that means. I think it's from like an anime or something. I'm not for sure, but we're just gonna make a dagger. You can also do it if you take damage. You can hit M and basically just like bleed yourself. But we're just gonna take the dagger. We're gonna hit M. No, it's not M. It's what is it? I think it's okay. Yeah, it is M, but of course it's not working because that's also our map. So we're gonna set it to 6, and basically we just stab ourselves with a right click and then hit 6, and we have become a Mahou Sakai. And you'll notice up at the top left we have Mahou. We 100 out of 100. That's our mana bar, and every time we use some mana, I think it's every 100 that we use, we get 1 point of mana. So you kind of have to grind your way up to actually have a decent amount of mana. And most of the big spells within the mod take a lot of mana. We're going to get a compendium. And this is basically the little book for it. I'm not going to be reading through all of this. There's a lot here, like a whole lot. So just a heads up. I know some people really enjoy it. I'm not crazy about it. Like I said, I just think it's a little bit much. We might be able to show some of the stuff off, but there is one thing in particular that I am going to want. But that's going to finish up a quest. We get some cloth and a Farmer's Delight box. And spell cloth, we can make scrolls with it so we can cast spells like faster than what we're about to have to do. Now next up, we do need to get the mortar and pestle. And they want us to powder a little bit of iron. We're going to have to actually craft the pestle and craft the mortar. There we go. It's like there's like 8 mortar and pestles in modded Minecraft usually. And then they want us to powder some iron. So we'll go ahead and powder that. And there's a few different things that you can powder, and these are used for different recipes. Like there's emerald, quartz, diamond, iron, gold, and ender. And all of these kind of correspond to a certain type of spell, a certain like vein of spell crafting, I guess. We're going to go ahead and grab that stuff. And then there's a little section here on how to grow your Mahou, which is your mana. And it's going to tell you that, you know, spend it basically. And they want us to get an attuner. So there is our attuner. And they're going to give us a diamond. And we can craft this together with that diamond, and we get an attuned diamond. And what we can do is we can hold right click on this, and basically we can store up mana. And you can see we actually bumped up to 101 mana now. And it's going to slowly start coming back. Very, very slowly. Now there's a few ways to make it a little bit easier. There's some spells. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of this. I've played around with it a little bit in the test world, but I'm not like super into it. I played like I said, I wasn't crazy about it. But there's a couple spells that it's drain life. Yeah, like for example, drain life, it's going to drain mobs in an area, and for every health drained, health, hunger, or mana is restored to the caster in that order according to the caster's needs. But it does drain mana to do it. But in the process, you're going to be draining mana, but gaining mana, and your Mahou is going to steadily go up. It can go up to like really high numbers if you consistently use your Mahou. But like I said, it was kind of part of those mods that were added like pretty late in, and not something that we're really going to be able to make a whole lot of use out of. And we can drain out our mana, make sure that we don't have any mana at all. And it's once again, it's a very kind of grindy mod. Like I said, there are some cool spells, but yeah. And then they want us to make the Scroll of the Mystic Eyes of Face Sight. And this is one of the things you'll notice. There's a lot of these like really long names. Like, let me find an example. Scroll of Explosive Mana Condensation, Mystic Eyes of Reversion, Eyes of Face Sight, Eyes of Clairvoyance. Like, the names just get longer and longer. There's one. Let's see if I can find it. Scroll of the Treasury Projection Gauntlet. Like, I don't know. But there's a lot of different spells in here. I'm not going to go like super into them. But what they want us to do is make the... we'll basically make a scroll here. Scroll of the Mystic Eyes of Face Sight. Okay, now what we need to do, because it doesn't really support JEI, is we're going to have to go in. Let's click here. We need to find the Face Sight spell. And usually what I do is cut off the whole like beginning of it when I'm trying to find something, and just look for, is it the Mystic Eyes they want? Yeah, Mystic Eyes of Face Sight. Right here. So for this, we're going to need 3 powder dye, and it does require cloth, and it drains 100 mana. Now we're probably going to have to go to the overworld for this, so we're just going to go ahead and break that. We don't need it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put down our cloth. We're going to take our dagger, and no, there we go. We want to get it on top of the cloth there. And then we need 3 powdered eyes. So let's go ahead, powder our Eyes of Ender. And we're going to cast our very first spell. So what we're going to do for this one, right click, right click, right click, like that. And then we're going to right click that, and we're going to get the Scroll of the Mystic Eyes of Face Sight. And then what we're going to do is just click that. So what we're going to do is find this ley line here, and we need to follow it. Now, how long does our Face Sight last? 15 seconds. Wonderful. But we need to find something like this and stand in the middle of it. And then we need to just wait a second. And what's going to happen is Fae are going to start showing up. And basically these ley lines, once you locate them, if we get near them, they work kind of like ley lines from Mana and Artifice, where we kind of get that like boost to our mana regen and stuff. And actually, I may have to recast it, because it did wear off, you know. Doesn't last for very long. And then there's all these various different weapons. Most of them, you'll notice the damage on them is not like super high, but they have like special effects, and they do like big flashy things. I'm just kind of waiting right now. Well, while we're waiting, we can go ahead. We're going to go ahead and make ourselves a Mahou Gen projector. We are going to need some powdered gold for this. And this is what we actually want from the mod. This right here. This is a very, very simple item. Doesn't even take any mana. Because what we can do with this thing, while we're kind of just sitting here waiting on mana, we can put this thing down. We get this circle. And what we can do is we can adjust the color. So if we want it to be, I don't know RGB. I have to like use, Google to do it. But that changes it to green, for example. And then if we wanted to set this to, say, 80, then we have a dark green. If we wanted to set it to, say, the red value now to, say, 140, we're going to get more of like an orange. The X coordinate's going to move it over. I'm going to leave it as it was, though. We can boost the size, so let's go like 90. Boom, we have a super circle. And let's set that back to 1. The speed, let's set that up to 90. And you can see now it's spinning like super fast. You could do some really cool stuff with it, but you kind of have to play around with it a bit. Let's set the angle to 90. You can see now the ring is turned up and kind of rotating around. And then let's adjust the pitch. We can change it like that. You know, there's a lot of different cool stuff that we can do with that. Like, I'm planning on having some on doors. Like, for example, our, well, primarily our Twilight Forest doors, for example. You know? Having some of these up. We can do that. There's just a lot of really, really cool stuff that you can do with this thing. As far as making kind of like a customizable sort of graphic, you know, like really kind of occultish graphic, basically. So that's the big thing within the mod that I think is really, really interesting. I don't really care about the weapons and stuff. Like I said, I think they're kind of over the top for my taste anyways. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to stand right here in the middle of this thing. And I think, yeah, it's a 3 circle. We need at least a 3 circle for this to work. Okay, they never showed up again. There's also the fog projector. Which this thing, if we put this down, we can do that and make like foggy areas. So whenever we get close to them, it kind of fogs out. Also a really, really nice block. It is extremely hard, as you can see, to find it again, though. There it is. Right there. We're going to go ahead and grab that. But we may end up using that in some areas. I don't know. There is also, like if we take this, we set it down, we can right click and we can change, you know, different things. We can change the particles. We can change the RGB on it. So there is some customization to it as well. But once again, it takes a bit of playing around. All right, so we're going to stab ourselves again because we need to make some more of these scrolls because we're not getting any fairies to show up, unfortunately. And we're still waiting on Mahou. Let's take a look at durability exchange. So that is 2 powdered emeralds and a powdered diamond. Let's do that because we can maybe get some mana back this way. So that's going to activate. You can see it says durability exchange. And what we can do, let's find something with some decent durability. We've got some assorted junk here, so let's throw that on top. And that's going to start eating it, and you can see our Mahou is going back up. So this might be the best route. It's basically just going to like eat the durability off of this chest plate. Alright, little Asgaard. And we can maybe get some Mahou into this attuned diamond. There we go. It's consumed that. Now we have 308 inside of this. Let me go ahead and mark this as exchange, because we'll probably have to come back to it, I'm sure. And let's go ahead and activate this. You can see our ley lines are actually down into the ground. I think this is the point where there's a ley line, but it's down in the ground. But if we stand right in here, we should be technically in the middle of it. I have to come back up here. I'm going to end up farming levels with Mahou. Like, not even intending to. Just trying to... How many of these do we actually need? 4. Okay. I think I should be able to get that with one looting kill. I sure do hope so. Because I can hear her, I just can't find her. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate that. There we go. There's one. Just give me all the Fey essence that I need, please. There's one. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, we have complete... No, don't make me do more quests. I don't even like this mod. Okay. And now we have to get the rule breaker. Oh god, we gotta get them all. Yeah, okay, so we're probably gonna not do this tab. Future ingredient to bring life to Frankenstein. Oh my god, no, you're gonna ruin it. You're gonna ruin it. I'm really glad we're getting this done. Because to get these, you need a lot of Mahou. Now, like I said, I think there's some ways to like exploit it where you do the time ritual and you cause it to be like this endless loop that just shoots your mana up. But the weird thing about it is the only like good way to level is to glitch it or like, you know, cheese it. So I don't know, like it's a weird mod and I don't know, I just not crazy about it. Like I said, it's pretty. We're not going to get to the pretty part. I just kind of wanted to show it off. It's not a mod I really enjoy at all. As you could tell, because it's very grindy unless you exploit it. Like I think it's intended to exploit or to play with it for a long period of time and become like a master Mahou or whatever it is. But I'm not master Mahou material, so I don't know. It's not like crazy, but it does have the Mahou Jin projector, which I think is really, really cool. I like that. I like the fog projector. Like these two blocks, kind of on their own, you know, they're really, really good. The rest of the mod I'm not like super crazy about. And the Magitek mana circuits actually look pretty cool. I'll show you those real quick. But I'm not going to go like crazy with Mahou Sakai. So that's how those look. I think they're a cool building block. We'll probably use them, you know, somewhere. We can basically store mana into them, and they're kind of like mana batteries, like that we can use when we're near them. But the rest of these quests, yeah, I mean, this tab is probably just going to stay blue. I don't think we're going to finish that. I don't think I have the patience to finish that, or the interest in exploiting it to finish it. But yeah, that's basically that's basically the short and sweet version of Mahou Sakai. Like I said, there's some really flashy spells. There's some pretty spells to look at. Like I said, they're really not super applicable. Unless you just want to blow big holes in the earth or something. Because every spell, to me, always playing around with it, it felt like... Because I've never played around with this in survival until just now. I just went to creative and had like super, you know, lots of Mahou and just cast spells. And everything felt like... If you ever watched like old Dragon Ball Z, when he spends like 12 episodes charging the Spirit Bomb, that's how Mahou Sakai always felt to me. And then some of the spells, it was like I'm trying to get it to work and I'm like trying to kite the mobs into it and stay out of like range of it killing me, and it's all just really, really weird. I think if it got a lot more polish maybe, and it wasn't so like crazy grindy or needed to be exploited, you know, maybe. But as it stands right now, it just feels like really, really weird. Okay, and then last up we have Hexary, which is a mod I actually do like. It's the one of the three that it's a mod that I actually do enjoy. It's just very work in progress. You know, it's another baby witchery, so to speak. So for this, what we're going to do, we have to get an herb jar and collect some plants. We've actually talked a little bit about this mod because we have our Hexary area over here. We're going to pop over to this area. Oh, this vampire hunter. You don't belong here. Oh, and we got a vampire hunter spawn egg. So we can get lots of livers. But let's go ahead, pop up. And this is kind of like the little coven village. There was a witch in here, but I think she might have just wandered off. I don't think I killed her. Maybe I did. But anyways, we need to get this herb jar. We can also craft these, by the way, like this with the mixing cauldron. There's probably a quest. Yeah, there's a quest for the mixing cauldron. Let's go ahead and get the mixing cauldron. There we go. And the mixing cauldron, basically you can fill it with liquid and add some ingredients and you can make things with it. And we'll be making some stuff here shortly, I'm sure, but... oh, this is a choice reward. It doesn't matter. We've already gotten, like, max hearts from it, so we'll just take something. And then they want us to collect mandrake root, the flower and the root, the sage, belladonna, mugwort, and yellow dock bush. Most of these we're going to be able to find just around the swamp, just kind of exploring the swamp. And we might... No, we don't have any of them just yet. Yeah, that's what I think about you. Throw this thing down. There's belladonna. We're going to go ahead and grab that. And we can put these in those little herb jars and use them for decorating. I'll probably end up setting them up with the sylph because I do want some of those herb jars for decorating. And I love the flowering lily pads as well. I may go through and just add a lot of the hexerii plants to the sylph. But I like this kind of mod. And I'm hoping that Hexary continues to see updates. Like I said, I think it's a really interesting mod, what's there at the moment. There's mugwort. But it's just, like I said, it's still kind of work in progress mod. And you'll notice, I mean, if you look around, it adds like these candelabras and candles, pestle and mortar. Another mod with a pestle and mortar, but it's one that you can actually place down and stuff, so that makes it a lot better. We got herb drying racks, but we can make these like that with all the different herbs. I think they just look great. And honestly, with sylph farming, we can definitely make a bunch of them. There's also a witch's hat. And like this right here, if you hold shift, it's dynamic to dry herbs. I love that. Like, there's some really cool stuff planned for this mod. Like I said, it's very, very unfinished at the moment. But there is a lot of promise to it. The crystal ball. We're going to go ahead and snag that. There's probably going to be quests for all this stuff. We can honestly just steal it. Plus our witch friend has abandoned the area. There's more yellow dock. Or that's our first yellow dock. We got yellow dock and mugwort. I think we're just missing like mandrake and sage. Okay. Oh, and actually, there was a task for getting 4 candles. So I'm going ahead and knocking that out. We also have to get the candle dipper. This right here, and you can see it says place on top of a mixing cauldron that's filled with tallow, then give the candle dipper up to 3 string to start the candle dipping process. We'll actually do it on camera, but we'll have to make one of those as well. And also, that one's belladonna. That's work in progress. Work in progress armor. Also, if we pop up right here, we're going to have the witch's broom. And this is basically, if you find one of these, you basically have free flight right out the gate. Because there's no requirement for it. Just set it down. And it's a little bit hard to control, but it doesn't control as well as the Evil Craft ones do. But it does control pretty well. As you can see, spacebar to go up, control to go down. And then, you can just turn and stuff. Not as fast as the Evil Craft one. Doesn't have all the little nifty add-ons, but personally, I like it more. I think it looks better than the Evil Craft one. Actually, this is a Hexary Village too. Or a Hexary Witch Hut as well. But let me go ahead and take my broom back. And we still got to find our mandrake and our sage. Which the mandrake, it may take a few harvests, but look at this. Like the structures here, this is actually the big one. The big Hexary Village. And if we take a look, and it's possible we could actually find the herbs that we're looking for here. Like right here is some sage. Oh, but we need the... yeah, we need the sage, like the seed type sage. There's mandrake root, though. We can go ahead and take that. Alright, you want to fight. I was going to let you be, but if you insist. And there's also the Book of Shadows altar. Oh, get out of here. We're going to steal this because it's a really cool looking book stand. You can see right now it's work in progress. But later on it's, you know, got some other plans to have implemented. A lot of things like that. Like I said, Hexary is very much a work in progress mod, but I love the direction that it's taking with kind of like the witch villages and stuff. And in a lot of ways, if everything comes to fruition, I think it's going to be the best like witching baby of all of them. Just because I think it looks great. There's mahogany. And I love the wood textures. Like, absolutely beautiful. That's mugwort. Oh, we got armor. Hooray, we got the witch's robe. You can also craft these, but... Oh! And there's the blood sigil. I think we can actually just harvest our way to full quest from the village. These villages are pretty big, as you can see. Oh, right over there actually is one of the little gardens. And right here, if you're doing the quest, it's a great place to get all of your stuff done. Because, like, there's a mandrake flower. There we go. And then we just need the sage at this point. So there's some sage. Oh, but that gave us the... There we go. There's the sage seeds. And that's going to give us a quest complete for the herb jar. I was about to say, we don't get a dice of fate, do we? Oh, you can get golden orchid seeds. I don't actually need any of this. I'm going to take like the polar kelp, I think. And then if we take a look, we can make stuff with a mixing cauldron. You know, I'm not going to go through all the different recipes. Blood sigil. Normally you would craft this in the mixing cauldron. And we can use that to get bottles of blood. There is the quest for the broom, which I guess we've unlocked it now. There we go. You can craft it, take some netherite and bottle of blood, so you need the blood sigil. You can also just find it right now. A lot of this stuff's probably going to be removed down the road, but right now I think it's just available to make the mod a bit more accessible. And then everything else that we've got left is basically crafting, because we're going to have to make the candle dipper, and I want to show you guys that because it's absolutely amazing. If we take a look at infused fabric, it's going to be 4 leather, 2 black dye, 2 string each. Let me turn this off real quick. And we're going to go ahead and put some water in there. It's going to start bubbling. And if we open this up, and let's open up our recipe real quick. So that. This is going to start bubbling, and if we click here you can see different recipes. I think the only one that uses this slot is like the blood sigil one. So for example, I'll show you the blood sigil here in just a moment. But they do want us, for the quest, they want us to make 8 infused fabric. And it's going to consume a little bit of water. You can see the water steadily going down. We should be able to get about 3 crafts here before we're going to need to put more water in it. But we'll go ahead and just add more. There we go. There's our last craft of infused fabric. And we're going to get the boots and the headpiece as a reward from the quest. So we're not going to have to craft it, but we are going to be putting this onto an armor stand. And then if you need to actually craft a broom, what you do is you take your blood sigil, just put it right into there. And then we're just going to... A little bit harder with my clones. There we go. And you can see we filled it up with blood. So from there we can just take a bottle and bottle that up. Just like so. And we can eat it. But if you need to use the sigils, that's how you do it. I just wanted to show an example of that because we don't really have to do it. The route that we're taking. Now the last thing we have for Hexary is the candle dipper, and I do want to show you guys this as well. So it's going to be iron and iron nuggets, and then beyond that it pretty much works the exact same way. We'll just throw that in. It's going to start crafting, and we're going to get a candle dipper. Now, to actually make your candles, we're going to need to make this tallow right here. There is our candle dipper. Chapter is complete, but we want an empty cauldron. And at this point, let's take our animal fat. And to get our tallow impurity, let's say here, this right here, you can see that it's going to take water. It's going to turn it into tallow. We will need some honeycomb, and then we'll go ahead and get our water. We're going to toss that in. We're going to toss in our animal fat, which we can just get this from killing any kind of animal. And we're going to let this run. And this is going to basically turn our water into tallow. And then what we can do is we can take and put our candle dipper on top. You can see it's all like nifty and animated. I love this thing. And we're going to put string onto these. And then it's going to dip them. And this is how we make candles within Hexary. I absolutely love it. Like, what is in the mod at the moment is just great. Absolutely great. Of course, I think something to kind of balance the broom, you know, but I think that kind of stuff is planned. But just not implemented just yet. From there, basically, you can take and you can dye them all these different colors, and you can also cluster them together, like we saw at the witch's hut, for example. We can kind of cluster them in like little groups, kind of like how Vintage Story handles it. And you can see that if you hold shift, they will provide different benefits based on what was infused into the candle upon creation, which that's not in the mod just yet, but it is planned. There also is the coffer, and there we go. Our candle dipper is just hanging out. We're going to go through, right click with an empty hand on the candle dipper, and you can see we're left with just a little bit of tallow in this. So let's go ahead and pull this up now. There's one other thing that I want to show you. It's not really in the quest book, but I want to show it to you because it's really, really cool, and I plan on making some for decoration. That is the coffer. Now, this does require mahogany planks, and then we can get our coffer. And the coffer basically is going to give you early game shulker box, right? Opens up like that. Really, really cool. And we have all these different little inventory slots. And what's nice is if you were to throw in like some stuff like this, and then you said, well, I'm going to take it with me. You take your coffer, set it up over here. You still have your stuff. So it gives you kind of portable, sort of portable storage. Now at this point, what we're going to do, I'm going to grab this, because like I said, I'm going to be setting up a little like Hexary witch area. It's not something that we're really necessarily going to be using a lot of. Outside of decoration, that is. But it is something that I want to give it its own little room. Kind of like Abyss. You know, the Abyss mod. Well, let's go ahead and we're going to put our witch's outfit. Look at that. And I love the little, like, it's such a good looking mod. Like, I hope. Like I said, the other two were just kind of like weird, wacky out there. But Hexary's a mod that I really do hope keeps getting updated. Because I absolutely love it. I like mods that are visually appealing. There's a whole lot of different directions the mod can take. And, you know, there's druid armor, which is kind of interesting. Could be like a druid faction. There's also the orcs, which could be maybe like an orcish faction. There's a lot of, I think, possibility with Hexary. And a mod that I do actually see a lot of, I have a lot of hope for, you know. Hanging drying racks are something that modded just hasn't gotten much of. Outside of like DecoCraft, and the idea of actually being able to hang up your herbs and dry them, I just love that. So, but anyways, I know it's wrapping up point 4 this episode, so we're going to end this one out here. Now, there is a few additional mods that we will be spending a little bit of time covering, like Better End Forge, Astral, and I think I want to say Witchery Rewitched is in here too, right? Yeah, Witchery Rewitched is in here, but we do still have those to cover. I don't think it'll be next episode. I think we'll take a break from covering kind of short, sweet mods for an episode or two. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.